Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League round of 16 for Season 3. We're in Group D this evening. If you missed our first game, well, you probably blinked because it was pretty quick. And it was MMA on an absolute charge through that first match. Let's just clue you up as to how we're going to play out through this evening. As you can see on your screen right now, MMA safely through to the winner's bracket game after defeating StarCraft from Slovenia 2-0. TitaN versus duckdeok is our next matchup. Kalaris is with me now. That first match, very disappointing as far as the Slovenian was concerned. I mean, expectation was kind of high because we had people from the crowd here supporting him, and there was lots of support and what have you. But let's face it, he's brand new to this big tournament stage. He's 16 years of age. Did we dare expect him to beat a Triple Crown winner?
It was always going to be difficult, and MMA coming in and kind of just stopping his opponent in his tracks before he could get to full momentum of his, what he wanted to do was kind of tough for him. So accounting for, I guess, what would have been a mid-game focus there for StarCraft, but not really fully cluing himself up in the early game. Tough.
Yeah, hopefully he'll learn from that. He did in the round of 32 and came back and won, of course. So still possible for him. We're going to move on to our second game now. This is a very interesting game. Let's show you the head-to-head between these two. TitaN from Russia, one of two Russians in the round of 16. Of course, Happy was the other one, knocked out on day one. And duckdeok, one of 6 Koreans in this season's round of 16, and also the defending European champion. Didn't have a great time against the other Russian in the round of 32. Lost both maps against him very straightforwardly, and then had to beat TLO twice to make it through to the round of 16. So we know how good duckdeok is from last season. I think last season was weird. It was almost like he played PvP all the time, and that suits him, that's fine. But now it's a little bit different. He's got to play through this group. He's got a PvP against TitaN now, which will suit him down to the ground. But after that, it gets tougher because it's either MMA or StarCraft either way round. On the other hand, we've got TitaN, who Sean earlier said, quite rightly, when you interviewed him after the round of 32, he said if he hadn't won that game, he was pretty much done with StarCraft. And that would have been very sad to see him go out. We like the player a lot. We love him when he comes down. He's a great personality. But here we are. It's time to find out who's got game between these two. What are your thoughts overall on both of them, and who do you think will make it through?
I really like this PvP in particular because of how it just stacks up in general. You have a Protoss like duckdeok who built his entire Season 2 championship on Protoss versus Protoss. So he's got some good PvP, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, you've got a Protoss like TitaN, who I would like to say, in terms of Protoss versus Protoss, has some of the best crisis management in PvP in the entirety of Europe. So it's going to be cool to see what duckdeok wants to do against TitaN, and then how TitaN actually reacts to that. I think it's more so going to be duckdeok being the aggressor than TitaN here. Okay,
one final question before we go into the game itself. We haven't seen duckdeok since the end of the Season 2 finals, where he got knocked out by Naniwa at the second attempt. He beat him the first time and then lost to him the second time. Does that suggest that maybe people are starting to figure his style out?
I certainly could do. I mean, those series against Naniwa in the Season 2 finals, obviously there was a lot of adaptation from Naniwa, and I think Naniwa just felt as if he just got kind of caught out in the first series. If I recall correctly, I think there was one Nexus first in one of those games. But
there was one
in the first series. But aside from that, yeah, I just think that Naniwa felt he got caught out, and then Naniwa is pretty good in PvP himself as well. But again, TitaN will give duckdeok a run for his money here. I'm pretty certain.
Good stuff. Thanks, Kalaris. Time for game number 2 then in Group D. Who's going to go through to play MMA? Is it the European champion from Season 2 or another Russian nemesis potentially in TitaN? It's time to go over to our commentary team for this one. Is Apollo and Grubby.
Well, thank you very much, Red Eye and Kalaris, and here we are doing the commentary once again. And you're next to me this time.
Another PvP for us, Sean.
We've cast a lot of PvP over these last few days. I'm starting to become a smarter individual just sitting next to you hearing your thoughts.
You become a big fan of PvP?
I've become a big fan because I'm starting to understand all the small little details about it, because you're just doing an excellent job, Grubby.
Oh.
And hopefully you can continue to do so here.
I'm just saying what's happening. The players are developing the strategies, and I'm sure a lot
You're
of
the
these
translator.
I'm the translator. Protoss to Earth language, to English. And these guys, they'll bring a lot of new lessons to be learned for us.
Let's hope so, because they do play their own style, and that's something that is going to be really good to see. Of course, duckdeok was very well known for his 3-gate play in Season 2 and lots of Stargates as well. And TitaN, you know TitaN just as much as the next Protoss player. He just plays the TitaN way.
Yeah,
let's describe it like that.
Yes, definitely. And in fact, I feel like duckdeok is a bit of a Korean TitaN, and TitaN is a bit of a Russian
Korean
duckdeok. No, he's
yes,
a Russian
I get
duckdeok.
it. Yeah, I got it.
It was really hard getting it out the right way, but I think I said it literally
Yeah, you did.
correct.
I came in and just screwed it all up at the end.
You're like the guy who says 146 when someone's trying to count money.
So Akalon and Frost away from TitaN, Derelict and Yongsu away from duckdeok here. Leaves Belshir, Polar Knight, and Whirlwind.
I don't really see any pattern in that per se. I don't see any pattern in that. It's just preference then. Both these guys bringing something to the table which cannot be 100% suited to the opponent's style.
Yeah.
PvP is like, you have your set of basic skills, and then you have a way that you're going to open. And it's almost like they don't even need to be that connected. So you train all these skills over the course of all your PvP games, and then you're like, you get your calendar, and there's 30 different squares to cross, and you just take your finger and you press, okay, this strategy I'm going to do. This one from the 30 build orders is going to be what I'm going to play today, come what may. And after that, we enter the fundamental stage.
It's a lot of build orders.
It's a lot of build orders.
It's a lot of build orders.
Actually, there's more than 30. I was just trying to keep it simple. There's a lot of different ones. And I thought that there were X amount of builds. Then duckdeok Season 2 happened. And then I realized that the scope of strategies that you could do is even much broader than I previously thought. And not all of them are built up in a safe, sequential way. duckdeok kind of has a very different tempo. But here's TitaN.
71 win percentage against Protoss so far. Has had a bit of a disappointing Season 1, just a round of 32 finish. Didn't make it out to the live stage. In Season 2, did make it to the round of 16, and actually was a single map away from toppling MC and moving on to the round of 8, and it was Belshir Vestige. Yeah. And it was a map that one single mistake happened.
Yeah, he was leading.
He was leading,
the
and
whole
he used 2 time warps instead of 1, and couldn't recall. And was stuck on the other side, and MC trashed his army, then won the game.
And then on Newkirk, again, the 3rd game, he was winning really hard. He had a bigger army. He was up 4 bases against 3. He had a better army composition, but he engaged in a wide open space. And his army was Colossus-based, which needs to have a very narrow positioning. MC, 10 Immortals, 10 Archons, he just wanted space. If TitaN had been patient and went above the top and attacked the 3rd from the top in Newkirk Precinct, he would have won that game, 99% sure. But he attacked frontally. Yeah. MC was happy, smiley face positioning was waiting, and TitaN went down. He could have won 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah, and it could have been TitaN going to the finals, because MC did to play duckdeok. And well, he's got his chance here anyway, as he's playing against duckdeok. Of course, the reigning champion from Season 2 comes into this group, Group D, and will face off against TitaN first of all, and then of course has MMA and Starbuck as his other 2 competitors. Whirlwind's going to be our first map between these 2 players. If history repeats itself, we're meant to lose our champion in the round of 16. MVP, of course, Season 1's champion. And who was it that knocked him out in Season 2? Who was that guy?
I don't know. Who was it?
I think it was you.
Oh.
I think it was you. You did knock out the Season 1 champion, but who's going to knock out the Season 2 champion this time around? Is it going to be TitaN to push him down first of all? Put his head under the water, and then Starbuck just goes...
If anyone does put him down. Because
that's right.
We don't know to what extent duckdeok refreshed himself. It's very hard to get to the top in StarCraft 2, and it's very hard to be a tournament champion. But it's even harder, possibly, to stay there once you're there, because everyone is looking at you. Everyone is looking at you and trying to see how they're going to disassemble you, and your strategies are the hip shit for a while. They're popular, they're trendy, and everyone will be looking to emulate them, and therefore everyone's getting a lot of practice against them.
Yeah, you bring up such a good point, especially because duckdeok played so much Protoss versus Protoss over the last couple of weeks in WCS, in the Season 2 Europe Premier League, at the Season 2 finals. And another player that's a great example would be the one that everyone looks to when it comes to TitaN, which is Innovation, who's been studied very hard recently and is also having a couple of problems himself. But is duckdeok now going to come into Season 3 in this group? Is he going to play the same style? Has he changed it up? Because we haven't seen that much of him.
Yeah.
Apart from his games and Season 2 finals, I mean, that was a month ago. And then the games that he played in the round of 32 were online, so we didn't get to really see his true colors. But here he is today, once again, in the studios where it all happened for him, where he broke down at the end, he had his tears and enjoyed his moment in the spotlight. But he is now in the round of 16 facing a dangerous player. And I mean, everybody in StarCraft 2 as a player is very motivated and is very hardworking. TitaN is up there. He wants it badly. He's a player that really, really wants to do well. He had a really bitter, sour taste in his mouth left after Season 2, but he's back in Season 3. And how's his hard work and preparation led up to a match against duckdeok?
We will see very shortly. The game is underway. Players are facing off in this epic, futuristic chess match. duckdeok versus TitaN.
That's right, and we are now loaded into Whirlwind up here in the top right-hand side as the red Protoss, excuse me, as playing for Rockus, it is TitaN. And then down here is the blue Protoss playing for MVP. It's duckdeok. Will the crowd be quacking this season?
It's really cool to see. It's really cool to see duckdeok breaking out in emotions there the last season. Also because the timing of his emotional breakdown was very perfect. It's after he won the tournament, and it's not somewhere in between. He had high expectations for himself, and once he got there, that's when he let loose.
Well, Grubby, we've already seen the first move.
Double moves.
11 gateway from TitaN.
Against the 12 gateway from duckdeok. Both earlier than the 13 gateway, both sacrificing ever so slight bits of economy to get a very early cybernetic score out and take the offensive straight away to the opponent.
So let's talk about the interaction between both of them, right? We have 11 versus 12 for the gateway timings. Both have sacrificed a little bit of economy. Keep in mind that duckdeok has also got double gases. If you were, you are the umpire, you are the referee looking on both sides, how are you calling this, and which way are they going to kind of act against each other?
I'm happy you asked that. Just to humor the new players, the new spectators who are watching here in StarCraft 2, welcome to our lovely, strategic, little complex game. A lot of the things that we judge about how things are going in StarCraft 2 is the game timer. You can see it at the top right of the minimap. Right now it's 3 minutes and 7 seconds, and this timer is consistent. So you can always measure your game progress by that game timer. Now normally the cybernetic score for each player is started in the very most normal found out way at 2 minutes and 47 seconds. When you make your gateway a little bit earlier, the 12 gateway, it starts at 4 seconds faster. Just 4 seconds. It's not a big deal, and you lose a little bit of probe production time. Maybe it costs you a few minerals. And then duckdeok's 11K, that starts yet a few more seconds earlier than that. So if you get to a position where your army faces head-on against the opponent, and you're waiting for your warp gate research to finish, your warping could be a few seconds earlier, then and only then does it make a big difference. It doesn't matter if you make an army and then you go somewhere and you eventually meet. It's only when you're both waiting cutthroat for that warp gate research to finish that kind of thing matters. Now TitaN, he is going for that 3-gate follow-up.
Yeah, his probe actually spotted the Nexus, then escaped without the obviously Nexus spotting the probe. He's got a pylon down. He's thrown down the double gateways upon seeing this Nexus.
Yeah, because unfinished buildings have very low vision, so they can get scouted without seeing the probe. So they don't know that they're scouted yet. Now, duckdeok, he went for a very quick expansion, and TitaN is doing about the most aggressive build possible. And duckdeok, recognizing that was a really early proxy pylon, says, okay, It's fine. I don't really have anything to lose if I cancel this. Worker counts are going to probably be equal, and they are. He's one worker ahead, and he just falls back and cancels the Nexus. Opportunity cost lost, but nothing really too impactful happening then.
Bit of a tug of war when it comes to the expansions here, because duckdeok went down there first and took his first. It's then been pushed away because TitaN moved in there and obviously is forced to cancel. And TitaN's, well, I'm obviously not going to get up your ramp because you've got a force field and you've got photon overcharge and probably the robotics facility, which is the most common follow-up of going for the Nexus. And TitaN's like, all right, I'll put mine down. And does this not just become a game of how long he can delay duckdeok from getting down this ramp?
Yeah. And TitaN threw up his Nexus before his first warp in. And now he activates the photon overcharge. Wants to kill the mothership core. That's a nice pickup. Probably going to lose 1 or 2 stalkers. There goes down 1, and he's sticking around a little bit too long, but will not lose another one. Just a bit of damage, and that's a really good trade. 125 minerals and 50 gas off the stalker lots against 100 for the mothership core.
And surely duckdeok's realized now that, well, this can be a little bit difficult for me to break out, and I slapped down the robotics facility.
Wow! He moves down the ramp. That's a very unique move. That quickly, he didn't want to get contained and moves down here. Sentries are going down, so there will not be an extended contain. And these 2 stalkers have to survive for TitaN to somehow come out equally, but he loses it.
Well, it's a couple more stalkers are getting warped in here from both sides. He's got to be careful not to lose this mothership core here. 3 stalkers from TitaN do come over. The supply advantage is with duckdeok at this moment. 4 stalkers versus 3 and 3 zealots. It looks like TitaN is going to have to run his way home.
All right, he kills that zealot and moves back. So the unit's lost stab is looking rather equal. Mothership core for TitaN is still alive, but he had to use the time warp, so he will not be able to use a photon overcharge too soon. And duckdeok during all this, as soon as he realized it was a contain, as soon as he realized, he made a robobay for a potential contain, but that was plan B. Plan A was, first immortal out, straight down the ramp, and the force field for TitaN was just a second too late, and now duckdeok has broken out. Such a cutthroat decision.
And now he's out. He is going to get that Nexus down of his own and start mining of his own. Stalker in the middle of the map does get chased away here, and TitaN will push that all the way back to its Nexus. But let's talk about the situation of the map. So the Nexus is on its way now for duckdeok, but it does have superior tech. He's got his first Colossus on the way when the first robotics facility is not even finished yet.
Yeah.
Does that, who does that lie with when it comes to advantages and disadvantages?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Oftentimes those Colossi, the first Colossus against someone who doesn't even have Immortals, let alone Colossi of his own, gets used for an aggressive push. He's not getting thermal lance yet, doesn't have the gas. I can almost think of no reason for duckdeok not to try and attack at least and do some damage. The only reason maybe would be to say, well, he doesn't know if TitaN is going for Dark Templars. But then he doesn't have the Observer now anyway, and he might as well move out and try to defend with whatever new warp in an Observer that he's making. And indeed, he is keeping 2 Stalkers at home in his mineral line for potential Oracles and for attacking Dark Templars potentially once he has an Observer.
I think TitaN's playing this game out rather well so far. His control's been pretty good, as did lose a Stalker there to the Colossus. He's getting his first Immortal up, but he's actually saturated on both bases very, very fast in this game, having got that Nexus down. 43 probes to 33. And he does have that Immortal which will help out against this non-Thermal Lance Colossus. But behind this there is Thermal Lance starting and there is a Forge. But already TitaN's saying, well, if you're going to move across the other side of the map with your small little army, then let me send some Zealots and see what damage I can do myself.
Yeah, very nice move there. These 3 Zealots are sacrificial. It doesn't really matter if he loses them. And he is going to lose them. They're committed already. Didn't kill any probe yet, but he's going to try and get information, and that's not too bad. It's an expensive scout, but yeah, like you said, he's fully saturated. He has been for a while, and he's not making any more probes. Now, a way that foreigners often lose to Korean Protosses is by going too quickly to 44 probes and 4 gases, and where the opponent goes for a very quick push. However, TitaN's Nexus was earlier. He macroed really well, never stopped making probes, and he got there early enough to still be able to repel any attack possible. So this isn't one of those cases. TitaN is actually really far ahead.
Well, let's see if he can stay far ahead here, because he is going up against, of course, the reigning champion of the Premier League. That's no small feat at all that duckdeok achieved last season. There's TitaN, the challenger when it comes to this series. He's got a hallucinated Phoenix in, does spot the added-on gateways, to spot the Forge upgrading as well, which he saw earlier on. But he is quite active on the map with his units. He doesn't really have any additional gateways yet. He's only on 3, by the way.
Yeah, should be looking to throw up a bunch soon. They're at 49 probes TitaN against 46 duckdeok. And Thermal Lance is just now starting for TitaN. For duckdeok, it's done, and he's got 2 Colossi. And TitaN's only just getting his first, so he shouldn't be here on the map. Expect a recall if things get too hairy.
Well, looks like he's almost loses his mothership core.
Oh my god. How do you dare?
Wow.
How do you dare rely on that? That was scary.
6 hit points, and that was gone, which means the army would have stayed. And the army could have died.
Yeah.
But look, Warp Prism does get in there, and that's a pretty nice move from their Ty, considering that duckdeok is out in the open, and he's got a lot of damage done there.
Yeah, that's really well done. He dropped 4, warped in 2 to 3 more. And he knew that duckdeok was out of position with that ballsy move out there in the middle. Had he not done the move in the middle, this wouldn't have done as much.
Right,
not too many probes killed, but some mining time.
Well, this third Nexus is down much earlier here for duckdeok than it is for TitaN, who looks like he may be in the position to take it himself, but currently is leading 180 supply to 95, still Zealot harassment going on. Both players do have their +2 on the way. TitaN does have a better tech. Actually, as I say that, duckdeok does throw down his Temple Archives as well. But I mean, at this point, if you were to award a point for the winner or the winning player at the moment, the leading player, who is it? Is it still with TitaN? And what does duckdeok need to maybe come over that if that's the point?
Well, TitaN's not ahead in every area. duckdeok's ahead in the third Nexus, and his +2 attack upgrade is a little bit ahead. And now TitaN is giving away a bit of an advantage, because what TitaN had was numbers. He was a bit richer, and he had a bit more units. And these Zealots are just dying, not doing too much. Units lost that now in duckdeok's favor. He's also 2 probes ahead and 1 Nexus ahead.
Yeah.
What TitaN has is charge. He's getting charge quicker, and he's also got, I think, a bigger bank. No, actually, sorry, the colors on my PC are a bit messed up. Yeah, duckdeok has a lot of gas saved up, actually. So whatever advantage TitaN originally had, it's rather equal now. So neither really working with a big advantage. So it's going to be a lot about positioning and how the fights happen.
Well, two warp, well, 1 time warp, sorry, 2 force souls do come down. Get a couple of Zealots there. As TitaN does back off in the center. The Colossus count is in favor of duckdeok at this moment. He is catching up in supply. A couple more Zealots from TitaN on the left-hand side. He's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. Or did just have very shortly as he warps in a couple more units. He's about to morph over to Archons. That's something we don't see yet from duckdeok, because you said he does have the gas available.
Oh.
I think that was the mothership core that just died off.
I don't feel like TitaN can be doing this here. He's down a Colossus and he's across the map, which means he's down 2 Colossus usually.
Well, he has bought some time to get these Zealots in while that attack was going on, I suppose.
You see really a difference in psychology here from the two. duckdeok just wants to macro up. TitaN, he wants to make something happen.
But who's going to come out at the end of it?
Yeah,
on
this
top?
is hard to say.
Very equal in supply still. Both players have started +3 attack. Zealot charges on the way now for duckdeok. Army supply slightly in favor of TitaN, who keeps on warping in units. Has added on more gateways as well. Whew! Bit of a tense game between these two players. TitaN has got a lot of Zealots on this third base. He's trying to break it again.
Yeah, there's a lot of Zealots there, but they don't want to be fighting Archons and Colossi. Oh, he's pulling him apart. He's pulling him out of position. 1 Colossus might be going down rather quickly. Nice micro by duckdeok, microing them back, but the Colossus are attacking on the Zealots above there. Still, much more Colossi for duckdeok, and his TitaN being too active on the map. Sometimes as Protoss, you just need to sit back and gather up your army, really.
Yeah, well, there's 5 Colossus there versus 3. That's quite a big difference. And TitaN is going to push back here one more time. He's trying to get into that mineral line, and to be honest, he's not really achieving anything.
No.
He's got a couple of workers killed, but not that much for the amount of money he's throwing at that third base. He's got more Zealots going over there, and it looks like TitaN is going to move back to his side of the map for the first time, as there's the Mothership Core and Zealots there waiting for that counter-attack again. And TitaN has gone over as he... I mean, he's got this Warp Prism down south. He really is attempting anything he can to try to break his opponent, but every time the door is locked.
But neither has it really put him in a disadvantageous position. They're really going quite equal. We can say they're going much more equal than the first series we saw today. Whatever probes TitaN killed, duckdeok replenished, and that made up for the fact that TitaN lost more army. Now TitaN sees that the 4th is being attempted. A bigger gateway explosion by duckdeok. He's adding 5. He was down 1, so he's going to be ahead about 3 gateways. And this is doing quite a bit. Lost mining time, probes dying, and the army for duckdeok is quite out of position to deal with this.
Alright, so Zealots just running around still in this main base. 155 supply for TitaN, 20 supply advantage at this moment. But of course, with the money going into those gateways, I'm sure duckdeok's going to climb up very, very fast, very, very soon. What is TitaN still looking to do with it? Is he going to calm down a little bit when it comes to his harassment?
Just as you asked that, we see it. I was just wondering if either will attempt a tech transition, and I was thinking neither of them can really afford to. There's too much action between them to warrant the possibility of a Stargate Tempest switch. TitaN is ahead 1 Colossus right now. He's got 6 against 5. So I thought he'd be quite all right just continuing Colossi. duckdeok cannot afford to make a Stargate transition. And I didn't think TitaN needs to, but he's trying it while still seeming very threatening. His style is really quite threatening, keeps being on the map.
Zealots in the main, Zealots on the third. He's everywhere with these.
Now, one thing that can happen is, there's 2 things that can happen. You take an economic advantage. You get a lot more gates than your opponent, and then you just control the game all the time. You keep attacking, and eventually you win the second fight. Or what happens is, hold on a second.
Oh, it looks like these 2 armies are going to join forces here. Time Warp is available here for duckdeok and TitaN. Uh-oh, is caught a little bit out of position here. Tries to break down that 4th base, but doesn't work and loses a lot of units there. But, I mean, well, these Colossus are just gone, and now this is just a big advantage here for duckdeok. That was a little bit sloppy there from TitaN. Not sloppy per se, but just got caught out. But one thing, through all of this, he has killed, Grubby, 46 probes in this game. His opponent is down to 45 compared to 68. But does he have the time after losing so much?
Yeah, probably not this time. He lost too many Colossi, and they're too slow to replace. He's down 5 Colossi, he's making 1, so he'll be down 2. The other situation which I said would happen is that duckdeok just keeps taking it upon the chin, ignore the little things, the little gnats that's biting at him, and then just do 1 big push out and win. And oftentimes when I try this, when I try to get too cute, too harassy, kill too many probes, the opponent's army is relatively intact. He attacks and you lose. And it looks like that's what's about to happen.
Yeah, well, Photon Overcharge has activated a single Colossus versus 6. This is the moment where TitaN goes, okay, this is difficult. All right, GG, and duckdeok will take game number 1. But talk to us a little bit about that and how you thought that really went.
Yeah, I mean, TitaN, he looked a bit too twitchy. He was too invested in making something happen. He needed to really take a deep breath and say, how is this working out for me thus far? And this is hard, man. It's hard to think. It's hard to think about what's happening, like, metaphysically. It's like, what's going on? Like, is this working for me? Should I continue the same style or just suddenly make a switch mid-series? Had they paused, let's say there was a bit of lag, and they paused, and he gets to think things over, maybe he gets the time to say, okay, this isn't working out well. But in the heat of things, he just stuck too much with that. He didn't need to be there at the 4th with his whole army and minus Mothership Core. Well, what's going on there? Like, he could expect the army to be there and lose all that.
I mean, just going over it in my head one more time, it really felt that TitaN was like, all right, one more move here. All right, if I go up to this 4th base, maybe if he's out of position and I get this Nexus, oh, by golly, I'm in good shape.
But would he be that much ahead if he killed the Nexus? It would still be 3 against 3. If we look at it in terms of investment, risk, and reward, the risk was extremely high.
But the reward wasn't that.
Yeah. The reward was, let's say, decent, 5% advantage. The risk would be like 80% disadvantage.
So why'd make that move in the first place? Then
I do it all the time. Right? It's very exciting. Gambler syndrome, maybe.
All right, so our next map, as you just saw, Belshir Vestige. Do you expect TitaN maybe to come in with the same style, same aggression, same kind of movement with his army all the time?
I almost feel like he's going to be even more aggressive.
Oh, wow.
Like, he did aggressive last game, and then he switched and went for an expand. I almost feel like he's just going to go for like a 4-gate blink. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But
your star sense is there.
I don't know. It's like a hunch. I feel like it's maybe not a good hunch, but let's see.
All right, we'll see, guys. As we are now loaded into map number 2. And down here is the red Protoss playing for Rockkiss. It is, of course, TitaN. And then he's going up against the one and only, the current reigning World Championship Series Europe Premier League number 1. It's duckdeok.
Yeah, Belshir Vestige can do almost any style on this map. Pretty easy to scout for proxies on most locations, but there's still a good 4 to 5 popular proxy locations for something like Proxy Stargate. Dark Shrine, very hard to proxy on this map. Where are you really going to hide it? Because pretty much, look at all the mineral fields on the map, on the mini-map. You see all those fields, they're all to the side. behind those mineral fields, that's where you'd ideally like to proxy a Dark Shrine. The old saying of hiding in plain sight, building the Dark Shrine at the Zelnaga Tower, not such a good idea. Although I think I'll try it once.
See how it goes. Let me know. Let me know.
I will.
Let me know, mate. I think. I mean, we talked a little bit about TitaN's mentality and how he's approaching this, but surely duckdeok comes into this series like, right, don't really know what to expect. I'm gonna try and go this 1-gate Nexus, and then all of a sudden he's like, whew. Yeah. Well, you're playing this game rather aggressive, aren't you?
Very intense.
Very intense.
That
game.
was exciting. Let's do it again.
Well, at least one thing on the bright side for duckdeok is going to come into this going, all right, well, at least I kind of know the way you're playing.
Yeah.
Let me adjust myself a little bit and maybe not put myself open.
Hello, I am TitaN. I am from Russia. This is how I play. It's like, hello, I'm duckdeok. And I'd like to play with you.
All right, so double gas is down here by both players. Mirrored build so far. And we do await to see the choices from both players here if we are going to see aggression from one. First decision that splits the ways that they're going is that the Zealot has been made here from TitaN.
Yeah, he might still choose to cancel it, but probably not. Like, if he wasn't going to make a Zealot, he'll probably make a second gateway, like duckdeok is.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Zealot coming out, if we take a look, we've got 2 to 3 probes for duckdeok. 2 in one, 3 in another. And this means usually just only one thing. 3-gate opener. 3-gate opener, it's perfect to mine with 5 probes on gas for a while. Sometimes people, they watch a Protoss player stream and they see 2 in one and 3 in the other, and they're like, hey, you're missing 1 probe in gas, you forgot. Conceivable, but not anymore.
Maybe stop making that mistake.
It's intentional. Now the 3rd probe is going into the 2nd gas. TitaN was already going 3-3. He's getting more gas, and we could be looking at
what you said.
Blink,
be
blink.
The Star Sense. All right, so at this moment, it looks like the mothership core from duckdeok's just coming down this left-hand side, having a quick look, because he has seen that both gases are mining fully from TitaN, expecting some form of tech here. Currently, duckdeok's sitting on 2 gateways, and TitaN's going to go in. He's going to have a look-see. Hello, what can I find?
This is
gateway.
A typical TitaN move, sacrificing 1 Zealot for scouting.
Yeah.
Because he's more sure to get in than a probe. He will see the whole base, and duckdeok smartly makes a Stargate where the Zealot has been. Now, I said it's going to be a 3-gate. That's not what happened, though. duckdeok made a Stargate first. Yeah. So, apparently that's also a build you can do when you open like that. And then he made the 3rd gateway afterwards, and his gas is looking just fine, so apparently it can work like that. Learn something new.
Can duckdeok not be scared of DTs at this point, or something along those lines? I mean, he's chosen Stargate. His mothership core saw a sentry and a stalker at the front, hasn't really seen too much. He's got no information. He's looking all over the map for some kind of pylon or structure.
Yeah, certainly it could be DTs. He's keeping 1 stalker at the natural to keep away the very closest proxy pylons.
Look at this.
Oh, getting a full scout. He sees the glimmer on the Twilight Council, knows it's blink, and he sees 3 gates. He sees everything.
Time what comes down to keep these 2 stalkers away, and he's going to get out there. It's a full scout there from duckdeok.
And it's cheaper to get out with a time warp than with recall.
And well, this is well, look at this now. Let's just address this. So TitaN now throwing down a Nexus. duckdeok now seeing it. I mean, what from here?
What's going to happen? Yeah, I thought that duckdeok will take a defensive position and just rely on Oracle to counter pressure. He's not doing that at all. He's making a lot of stalkers and he's getting aggressive. Because he feels like he might have more stalkers than TitaN right now. There's a Nexus, there's Blink. He doesn't have Blink, but he has more stalkers. And then he's going to try and fight at the front, either the main ramp or the natural, and then send an Oracle in the main base. And TitaN doesn't know there's a Stargate out, so that's what duckdeok has as an advantage.
Oh, well, the Oracle comes in, the stalker's already here. They don't quite have Blink. Oh, seconds away, that could have actually been killed there. Nexus is going to have to be cancelled, I'm sorry, TitaN. And he does cancel it. Blink is now finished. He's massively pylon bot there at 42, by the way. He couldn't warp in any additional stalkers for a very, very long time.
Yeah. But now TitaN can only use 5 stalkers because he needs to keep some stalkers at home.
Can he not use the mothership core?
Yeah, that's true. And he's gonna actually do that. Now he's getting a lot of stalkers. Oh, photon overcharge a little bit late, and then Oracle can still kill a bunch of probes and get out of it there. But he kills all the stalkers.
He's killed everything, and from this position, it's now duckdeok expanded. Does not this, give the momentum drive over to TitaN? He's like, hey, I just killed a bunch of stalkers. My Mothership Core's done all right to push your Oracle away for now. Get over there.
Yep. And TitaN does go expand now too, but he doesn't have a proxy pylon on the map. So it's just going to be these 6 Stalkers against a Sentry, a Stalker, an Immortal, and whatever else duckdeok warps in right now. So duckdeok isn't going to die, but he might lose his Nexus. Maybe.
Well, the Oracle's going down and does see the Nexus building of TitaN, and will probably go into the main to see if he can get some probes, since the Mothership Core's already used its Photon Overcharge and does not have enough energy. And these Stalkers are fighting. Blink back there. Void Ray has been made as well. And here comes the Oracle.
No defenses for TitaN. 2 Stalkers out of position, moving in now, but a bunch of probes will die. He shift-clicked all the probes, and the Nexus is cancelled. Great job there by TitaN.
All right, so currently it's 24 probes to 30, but there is a Nexus almost completed here. Well, not really, but halfway, sorry. And the army composition from duckdeok getting ready to deal with these Stalkers, but that Void Ray, a little bit exposed, does get picked off.
And a pretty nice blink micro by TitaN. He did lose a Stalker, but he killed a Void Ray. So I'm not quite sure where duckdeok goes from this point. Once he has 2 Immortals, he will kind of stabilize, but his Nexus hasn't started yet. And he doesn't have any special techs. No Forge, no Twilight, no DT, no Blink, no Charge. Yeah. So he's just got this immobile army, basically. And I feel like TitaN has the upper hand if he doesn't give away advantage bit by bit like he did last game.
All right, well, let's hope for him he doesn't. The Mothership Core will have a time warp very, very shortly. It does have 100 energies, we do see. And he may decide to put that down here to try and catch these Immortals, but they do run back to the main base. 3rd Immortal on the way here for duckdeok, looking to stabilize. A couple of Force Fields come in here from TitaN, and he's going to catch a couple of Zealots. So nice 2 Zealot trap there if he picks them off. Picks one, and then the other.
Wow, very nice time warp. Taking down 3 Zealots already. There goes an Immortal. He might get the 2nd Immortal as well. Just goes and blinks on top of that. And takes down the rest of the Stalkers as well. It looks like TitaN has more army than what duckdeok can deal with.
An Oracle is here, though, and does help out for now. So duckdeok down in supply and is bleeding. Obviously, losing 2 Immortals is not very good, but there's more and more units coming from TitaN. He's streamed up a bunch of Stalkers, and that's a lot of Stalkers now. He's going to want to just kill off this Immortal and try to win the game right here.
Yeah, it does look like you're right in that, Apollo. He's going to win shortly.
GG. TitaN equalize the series against the former #1 here in the Premier League, duckdeok. And we are going to game number 3.
What do you think about that game? The early game decision by duckdeok to put on mass Stalker pressure and relying on his Oracle to try and keep enough Stalkers in the main.
I wasn't the biggest of fan.
You think he should move back, make a Robo, keep his Oracle as a threat and just try to survive initially?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But maybe he was worried.
But what,
it was a pretty early Nexus.
Yeah.
He could fall behind economically.
He didn't want that to happen, did he, apparently?
Yeah. It's a slight bit of a build order crossover. A slight bit of a disadvantaged build order for duckdeok. But still, there's a lot of directions you can go. And the way that he went, you could predict that maybe he'll lose all the Stalkers. But I thought he just knows better than me. He just knows better than us. He's going to cancel the Nexus and get out of there. But he lost all of the Stalkers.
Did lose a lot there.
Killed some probes. But
did kill a couple of probes, but was pushed away by the Mothership Core. But it's now come down to the final map. Polar Night is going to be the final destination between these 2 players to see who gets the opportunity to go against MMA for that first position in the group. duckdeok has now lost the game here, and TitaN, looking as fierce as ever, not just rolling over, is given a fight over to the Korean, the reigning champion, and we now are ready for this next map. Don't really know which way this is going to go. I actually have no idea personally which way this is going to go, and that's what we're here to find out and hopefully describe to you on the way of how it ends the way it will end, because we will have a winner and loser by the end of this next map for this series. As we are now loaded down here at the south side of Polar Night. Playing for Rockkiss, representing Russia, it's TitaN. And then up to the north here, the current #1 in the league, playing for Team MVP. He goes by the name of duckdeok. All right, first of all, Grubby, are there any typical strategies or styles that we often see on Polar Night here in the PvP? Something that happens, rather often?
I think this is quite an expansion-based map. Taking a quick natural. Wow. Okay, TitaN 12k, but I think that's just kind of a habit for him, so nothing too special there. I think expanding is good here, but proxying is also really good. There are too many places to hide a proxy Stargate for the opponent to scout it definitely on time. But then blink, also pretty good. It's kind of a big ramp though into the main base, so blink can be a little hard. And if you look at the ramp at the fourth base in front of the main base, yeah, there, the space under the mineral field leading into the main, it's a lot less space than you might think. It's really hard to blink up here because there's only space for a stalker or two, also to the left of that second gas. So there's right over there. There's very little space. I was like, yeah, this is a really good place to blink. It isn't. You cannot easily ferry 10 stalkers in and out of the base.
Well, double gas is down here by duckdeok, likewise from TitaN. Just a little bit later for TitaN, earlier here for duckdeok, as he does send out a scouting probe here. Nothing of the likes from TitaN, who in the previous game did use that Zealot, if you remember, and he does have that building and waypointed over again, and maybe looking to use that. Identical opening here for duckdeok, who does throw down that second gateway, just like game number 2, excuse me.
Yeah, both doing the exact same build they were doing in game 2. So does that mean that they're trying to posture as doing the exact same thing? Does TitaN want to pretend he's going for that kind of blink opening again, and duckdeok for the Stargate? And how did they set up game 2 to change up their build in game 3? And some people might wonder, why change up your build? Nice probe kill there by TitaN. Why change up your build at all if it works?
Yeah.
But in PvP, you can hard counter the opponent. If I tell my opponent, I'm going to play like so, and I'm going to beat you with skill, he's going to be like, ha, 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 ha. I'm going to beat you with a build order counter. So that's a little risky. That's why often people do change up their build. Now, TitaN, is this blink again? That's kind of what it looks like. Or is it going to be Dark Templars this time?
Well, that's what we're going to find out in roughly 30 seconds' time as the Twilight Council nears its completion. But duckdeok does have 2 gateways pumping out stalkers at the moment. No chronobursts in them. A couple of extra gateways coming down here for TitaN as well. It is looking more and more so like blink. And his mothership core has got into the main base here. He's going to get a probe. And time warp onto the economy here.
Interesting. You don't always see that, a quick time warp on the probes. He's killed some probes already. Let's see, he's killed 2 probes. Might not get out here though. Very painful loss.
I mean, why is this so painful for him to lose the mothership core here?
It costs 100 gas, and early game Protoss builds are very, very precise, especially in terms of gas. Now, TitaN indeed is posturing like he's doing the same, but he's going for a Dark Shrine. That's his plan here. And that's not going to match up too well against an expansion and a robo.
Well, where's that final piece, Grubby? It's thrown down there. Okay, so when it comes to the build orders, it's just duckdeok has a better one.
Yeah. Yeah, normally you should not take that much damage at all or lose the game against DTs when you're going for expansion plus robo. And the early game also went to duckdeok because he killed a mothership core and he just lost 2 probes.
All right, well, TitaN now has seen the expansion, I think, there as his probe goes to build a pylon right behind the Nexus. So let's just, walk into the future a little bit here and say that DTs don't do anything because they have even been spotted now.
They just got spotted.
So they actually shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So what does TitaN need to do to equalize and get back? He's putting 2 pylons inside the main base.
Minute. If he... can he get the second pylon up here? No, I don't think so. That one got cancelled. This one...
Yeah. Okay, so does he even warp in a DT? Does he
I don't think he should warp in more than 1.
Well, he's warped in 2.
It's risky. It's risky. The observer's coming. There's 2 force fields. duckdeok sees that. Observer is out. He can trap both of these DTs in if they take the bottom route under the Nexus, which is the standard path to take.
All right, well, where are they going to go here? 1 force field there. And the other force field traps the one at the north. He's going to try to pin this. Well, he doesn't get that one, but he's going to get this one.
Oh. Well, that's a lot less bad for TitaN than it seems. Like, he only loses 1, and it killed a probe.
Yeah.
Still painful investment. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely. It's not the best thing to do with his money.
Now comes phase 2.
I wouldn't let him look after my money.
No, that was not a good investment.
What does he need to do? Because he is playing from behind. He's not had the best setup with his build. What does he need to do to get back in?
We saw this from Wellmove. Stage 2, where you start dropping DTs. How good is TitaN at this? Pretty good, I think. But duckdeok is good at defense. He's got his 2 stalkers and observer there. He needs to pick up DT. Cannot afford to lose this. And will not. So stage 2 also got countered by duckdeok.
So then on duckdeok's side of things, you just say, well, good job, buddy, you're doing well, keep at it. There's nothing really that you'd say needs to do. It's just keep doing the same, keep defending, keep improving your economy, keep improving your tech.
I couldn't have said it any better. Some people, they feel like they need to do something, like you did DTs and you failed. Now I'm gonna go all in you because I can. It's like, no, you can't, because you need to keep a higher proportion of your army at home against single DT. So whatever army advantage you have, you need 2 stalkers in each base with an observer or cannon. So you can't do an all in. Exactly what you said. Just keep it cool. Keep it cool. Defend macro.
Is there any gambles that TitaN can play with here to maybe get back in?
It's really
without
hard.
doing damage. No gambles.
Really hard to say that there's any gambles which really provide a big advantage. One is double Stargate. We saw Squirtle do this. He opened up with DTs. Oh, he's gonna lose that DT. He opened up with DTs against someone on Akelon Waste in WCS Korea.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Can't remember who it's against though.
He opened DT. Sun. It was against Sun. Yeah. It didn't do much or anything. And then Sun said, I'm gonna go all in. Went with the Colossus, went all in, 5 gate. 2 DT counterattack, killed the opponent's Nexus, and then he had double Stargate Void Race to defend at home. It was a hair-thin defense. But that's the risk that Squirtle took. Double Stargate Void Race. But TitaN is just playing normal.
Yeah, and duckdeok sees that too. The Hallucinating Phoenix sees everything, actually. Goes in, spots it all, knows what's going on, is continuing to chrono boost out his Colossus here, and has thrown down a 3rd Nexus at the same time here. That will really ramp the pressure up if TitaN was to see that, because now he's like, all right, well, do I take my 3rd base with minimal units? Do I risk being attacked? And if he sees it late, then he's like, God, he's got a 3rd Nexus up and running already.
Yeah, very strong power play there by duckdeok. I really like that. He can afford to, because there's no way TitaN can all in him.
Well, I mean, look at the numbers here. 46 army supply to 31 in favor of duckdeok. 53 to 47 in the workers. Not a big difference there, but still, 3rd Nexus. And here comes the DT. If he gets a cancel on this, it may be a bit of a good feeling for him. Yeah. But is that even going to happen? Depends on where the nearest observer is.
It was at the natural. He won't even do hull damage on the Nexus, most likely. Gateways being added already for duckdeok. TitaN is still on 3 and not starting any yet. Yeah. Everything is ahead for duckdeok except attack upgrade.
Well, it looks like the warp prism inside the main base. Maybe some way that TitaN can get back into this. He's warped in a stalker. I mean, warped in is out, but there are 2 stalkers there. 3rd one being warped in.
Oh, very nice save there. Neither of the probes died.
Yeah, and TitaN is going to try and expand behind this. So that warp prism is probably the most important unit in the game for TitaN at this moment. Because if he doesn't, then he doesn't really have anything to upset the pace of the game. That's the only thing that he has.
Yeah, very true. duckdeok in a solid lead here, starting to populate his 3rd. I think if duckdeok wants to attack, he should make some cannons in every base. But right now he's doing just magnificently, just with mobile defenses. He's up to 57 probes and continues to make some more, getting his gases at his 3rd now so that he can make even more Archons. And I don't think duckdeok is going to go for a kill move just yet, but he is moving to take control of this tower, and that's scary for TitaN.
And here's the warp prism inside TitaN's main base there. And he doesn't have too many units, and he doesn't have any defense right now. He does warp in 3 DTs, a very expensive defense here.
Yeah, DTs make your army really small because of how much they cost.
He's got a DT there with 4 kills on that 3rd Nexus. That was okay. But yeah, 3 DT defense there, rather expensive. Still, I've seen many a pylon block in this game. I don't know if you have as well from TitaN.
Yes, that's true. I mean, he lost that pylon there. Doing another warp in here. Not too bad, killing some probes. Probe count is almost equal. TitaN's only 4 behind.
He has killed 14 in this game. That's not bad, considering that he got, what, 1 DT, or 1 kill with the DT in it, originally?
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing what he can, but supply blocks, Sean. So many supply blocks. Should be okay for a while, 4 pylons finishing. And as we said, Protoss ground weapons level 3 has been started, and it still takes about 40 seconds for duckdeok. But half-finished upgrades don't do anything to add to your army, so if duckdeok attacks between now and 2 minutes from now, it's not going to make a difference yet, the upgrade.
Alright, well, duckdeok has got a DT on that 3rd base, cannon on that 3rd base. The Warp Prism does have the 4 Zealots in. Tried to look for a way into the natural, didn't find anything there. So there was a Colossus as the defense waiting. But TitaN has established himself on 3 bases now. Supply difference not too different. Obviously that 3rd base from duckdeok has been mining a lot longer, which means he's got a lot more gas. Oh! Goodbye, the only way to harass duckdeok.
And it's very true what you said there, that War Prism has upset the pace of duckdeok's game a bit. If he didn't have it, what threat would there really be? He killed 2 Stalkers with this. A Colossus was camping in the natural for duckdeok. So he's committing a lot of units to every base, and he's doing it well, but still, every action forces a reaction. And for TitaN, that meant he's still alive right now. And now he's looking to finish his level 3 ground weapons pretty soon from now.
And there's a pro building a pile on there. The army supply heavily favoring duckdeok here. That's a scary thing when the army comes to a head.
Yeah, and as duckdeok is getting closer and closer to being 1 or 2 warpins away from max, he's added 6 gateways. And the incredibly important mothership core for combat potential just died like that. It was at the Zelnaga Tower all by itself. And it said to the Protoss army from TitaN, I thought you said we'll go together.
Why did you lie? We're on the same team, guys.
Todd did that to me once.
Did he?
Yeah. So.
All right, well, here comes duckdeok's army. 180 supply. 1-1 at the moment between these two players. 116, TitaN 81. A little bit behind here. He'd have to have a miracle engagement, and usually that comes with the mothership core, which unfortunately doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any energy. It's completely useless with its little pew-pew lasers. It's not really going to do anything here against these big guns.
And I'm a wee bit afraid that TitaN overprobed. He's at 74 probes, which would be ambitious on 3 base. And at 18 minutes, when the main is about to run out, yeah, you might as well let all those probes die. Just let them die.
Uh-oh, big move coming in by duckdeok. Warp into the main base. Army on the 3rd.
Pull TitaN out of position.
Oh, no, TitaN is just... Well, he's got back there in time, but still, he just doesn't quite have the army here to go up against duckdeok, and he knows it. The mothership core useless here for TitaN, and the engagement will happen. And there is no retreat anymore, TitaN. There is no running, and every unit will be slaughtered here. Time warp comes down there, double time warps come in, zealots to the main, zealots to the natural, and duckdeok says, you know what, I've had enough playing around in this game now, let me just finish it, and please let me go into the winner's match. And TitaN's Colossus with no support run away, the reinforcements melt before they can even do anything. And unfortunately, from the get-go of this game, TitaN's played at a deficit and has ended in that position as well, and duckdeok will move on to the winner's match to go up against MMA.
Completely agree with TitaN there. GG, well played. That was well played. duckdeok showed an excellent mastery of the Protoss race in this Protoss mirror matchup. He got an advantage and never let it go. He was like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
Would not let it go.
It's a good way to describe it. As duckdeok moves on. One more level here in the round of 16.
Really admire his play.
Looking sharp today.
Yeah.
Looking sharp. But now that means TitaN will lose and obviously go down to play up against Starbuck in the loser match.
Now TitaN wasn't outclassed the way that Starbuck was. Not really. He was almost on the same level, and partly we can say maybe he was on the same level, save for 1 or 2 mistakes. 1 or 2 mistakes more than what duckdeok did. And also he was fighting from a deficit the entire 3rd game.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for the TitaN, didn't quite make it through duckdeok, but he has another second chance, so we'll see if he can do it there. But it's now time to hear from our winner with Red Eye.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, with duckdeok, congratulations, well played. It's been a little while since we've seen you. The last time we saw you standing here, you just become the WCS European champion. Welcome back to the round of 16, firstly. A 3-map game against TitaN obviously pushed you all the way. Let's talk a little bit about each of the maps first. First map, straightforward win for you, but where did it go wrong for you in map 2?
첫 번째 경기는 쉽게 이긴 것 같았었는데 두 번째 경기에서 어디에서 이제 좀 지게 됐는지.
그냥 질럿 난입을 허용해서 불리하게 시작한 것 같아요.
I think I lost this game because TitaN had those run-bys with the zealots, so I kind of was in disadvantage after that.
Okay, and then the 3rd map, you got a good break at the start, killing off that mothership core, and then Grubby said you played the perfect PvP game, and it was patience. It seemed like you were waiting for the right time. You were just fending off all of the attacks, the harassment, and waiting for the perfect time. How much did that take for you just to be very calm and wait for the right time?
세 번째 게임에서는 이제 엄청 침착하게 하는 모습을 보여줬는데 계속 기다리면서 이제 타이밍이 나올 때까지 기다린 모습을 보여줬는데 그걸 이렇게 참고 있었던 게 어떠셨는지.
우선 길게 끌고 갈수록 제가 초반에 유리하게 시작해서 이길 수 있다고 생각했어요.
I started the game with a huge advantage because of the mothership core. So I tried to draw the game as long as I could. So to take this advantage in a longer game.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the next game. You play MMA next. So how do you feel about playing MMA right now?
다음 상대가 MMA 선수인데 기분이 어떤지?
그냥 타이탄 선수 상대하는 거랑 똑같아요, 기분은.
There's nothing different from facing TitaN. It's just another opponent.
Okay, well, best of luck, and thanks for coming back to Europe again. It's great to have you here. duckdeok wins match number 2, and he'll go head-to-head now with MMA. Let's break down exactly how he managed to win against TitaN 2-1.
Thank you very much, Paul, and welcome here to the analysis screen as we now look at game number 1. Actually, I want to go back to game number 1 and just place a little bit of emphasis on one or two things that happen in this game. Now, obviously, there was a lot of zealot harassment throughout this game from TitaN, trying to, do a bit of economical damage here and there from his opponent. But something in PvP that has become so exceedingly important over the course of Heart of the Swarm is that mothership core, as well as the use of time warp. Now, throughout this entire game, this mothership core was very, very weak, and he was desperately trying to keep it alive in each engagement. And as we just roll on here, we can see that this mothership core dies off with around 62 energy. Now, this does play a little bit of a role later on going into that bye-bye mothership core. Sad to see you go. But again, with this engagement happening, a little bit of a trade here and there. duckdeok doesn't want to fully commit. He believes that TitaN has a little bit more to actually hold that off. Meanwhile, the zealot harassment trying to distract up here. But as we go into the next main engagement, going up to the third base, which is right about here, then there's actually no time warp here for duckdeok to try and isolate Colossi, etc. Of course, this engagement was always going to be hard for TitaN. Always going to be hard for TitaN because of the fact that there are 5 Colossi against 3. However, the incorporation of Immortals into that, if TitaN had a time warp on that ramp, to try and slow a little bit of this army down, then maybe he could have actually done a bit more damage to that. And if we go to the resources lost now, we can quite clearly see that, duckdeok has a little bit of an advantage. And this is all whilst he was killing off probes throughout the entirety of the game. So duckdeok had a fantastically strong advantage at this point going on into the later stages. And that's about it, really. If we end up going to the very, very final engagement as well, here, this is really time warp in motion. As this time warp goes down, and the Colossi, they have absolutely no chance when they are this slow in a Protoss versus Protoss. So that's going to do it from me, guys, here at the analysis screen. Let's hand it over to Mr. Redeye with some more WCS action.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Yes, game 2 broken down there by Kalaris, and we'll be back very shortly with match number 3, the winners match between duckdeok and MMA, 2 fantastic Korean players going head-to-head for the 7th position in our quarterfinal. Just a reminder for you, a little bit later on this evening, we're also going to be taking the draw for the quarterfinals as well, so you can see that live before the end of the show. And if that wasn't enough, we've got a special video for you later on, and if that wasn't enough for you, we've got WCS Extra this evening as well. Now, there's also a little promotion going on StarCraft2.com right now. Just check it out. I can't really do it justice. It's basically back to school. And because I'm an old guy, I don't need school. But you do. And if you have been studying hard, that's great. And it doesn't mean you have to miss out on StarCraft 2, because you can still play and get double XP. We've also got some special announcements as well. In fact, let's go over to a video, because that will explain exactly what we have for back to school in StarCraft 2.